don't have a way to express how good God is to me. I feel like words just aren't enough. When I was going through the situation when I was a teenager, my grandfather said, and I don't even know if he realized how impactful he was, but I was talking to him on the phone and I was really sad. And we weren't even talking about dancing. I wasn't even serious about dancing at that time. And one thing he said to me before he hung up, he said, never stop dancing. And at that moment, I realized that I had a gift. I realized that that not only could I use it to inspire other people, but I use it to inspire myself. I used it to keep myself going. And even now, every time I have to mime, every time somebody asks me to mime, like, I'm just overly excited. I'm just listening to the song all week long. I'm preparing how I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking about who's gonna be there. I'm thinking about who in my church needs to hear the song.
No show sham. No show sham. No show sham. No.
I am a mother to Mia and Nia, and I actually think that they keep me even closer to God because I know that I wouldn't be able to take care of them. I wouldn't have the strength. I wouldn't have the patience. I wouldn't have the energy to give them all that I could as their mother, especially with one of my daughters being diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and she has therapies that she has to go to throughout the week. She has special braces and shoes that have to be put on her feet every day, and that's a task.
What's up?
Not really too much hanging out. I get to make it to church. I get to go out occasionally with friends, but other than that, I'm being a teacher and I'm being a mommy. I am a 5th grade teacher here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have about 24 5th grade students that I greet with joy every Monday through Friday. Just like every other job, I deal with stresses, I deal with attitudes, not so much from my students, but from adults. I deal with a lot of different things from administration. But there are some joys of my job, and I love changing my students' lives, and I love building relationships. When I hear music, do I automatically think of my movements? I would have to say no. What I do is if it speaks to me, if I really like it, I may download it and I may continue listening to it. And then at some point, if I feel like, man, this would be a good song to dance to, then I'll start thinking of movements. Well, listening to music with lyrics is really easy for me. Like I said, especially if it's something that I've gone through, if it's something that I understand what the artist is talking about. It's really easy for me to come up with movements. It's really easy for me to create a mime dance based on those lyrics. And actually, I just recently experienced listening to music without any lyrics. And what I do when I come to those situations is I write my own lyrics. I've always enjoyed writing. I always loved writing poetry. And I feel as though when I'm able to write my own lyrics, I can give myself 110% because it's actually, I'm writing about the way that I personally feel about God. I'm writing about the way that I personally feel about our relationship. If I'm rehearsing, it's always in my head. I may come up with a move or two and I may practice it just to see if it works, but I don't really rehearse. I don't really practice. I come up with what I want to do in my head, in my mind. If I feel like it's difficult, if I feel like I don't think I'll be able to bend that low, or I don't think I'll be able to spin that fast, I may practice a movement, but I don't ever rehearse my mime ministry. When I'm ministering, I'm just so full of emotions. Sometimes I smile while I'm ministering, sometimes I cry while I'm ministering, sometimes I just praise and I just totally off my dance movements when I'm ministering. So it really depends on the song, it really depends on the lyrics, it depends on the movements that I created, but most of the time I just feel really thankful. The first piece of advice that I would give to people that want to dance is that it's not just dancing. It's not just, oh, I really like this song, let me come up with movements so that people will clap and people will cheer for me, because it's not about you. It's all about God, and all the glory has to go to God. And every time I finish miming and people say, oh, you did such a beautiful job, I really like what you did, blah, 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 I always say, glory be to God. Because it's not about me. It's not about what I've done. It's not about how well I've jumped around, or it's not about how good I made you feel. But it's about God getting the glory for everything that I do. And if you want to mime, if you want to dance, I strongly encourage you to do it. But in your doing it, I strongly encourage that it be for the glory of God. Because if it's not, then it won't last, and it'll just be a hobby and it won't be a gift.